What's up, people? And welcome to the 100th episode. This is actually the official 100th episode of Supreme Decisions. Tonight is going to actually be kind of quick for the most part, as far as the live goes anyway, because they still have not fixed this damn software, and I'm still not fully happy with what it's supposed to be doing. And, you know, that's where we at right now. Okay. What's up, Outlaw News? Because I actually cannot see this shit. I'm trying to look on another piece of equipment, so hold on for a second. Let me see if I can figure out something. Yeah, because what the fuck was that? Okay. What's up, Froggy? What's up, Patrick? Alright. What's up, Gary? Alright. Tonight's episode is actually one from my guy Jeremy. He was the $100 donor, and this episode is about challenging what we are taught versus the actual reality when it comes to dealing with police officers. And one of the things that we're taught, we got Abraham tonight. You know, he changed his name every other day. I think he's wanted by the federales or something. But no, this is my guy Abraham. He's been on a few lives with me on a couple other channels. Last night we did one on my Facebook, my actual personal Facebook, which is Richard Olympia. If you want to go and check that out, it's in my videos. And it was in regards to the shooting that nobody seems to want to talk about in Kentucky, where a mentally ill man went in. He tried to get into a church, didn't get into the church. He went to Kroger and murdered a man in front of his grandson, then went in the parking lot, murdered a young lady, Vicky Lee, murdered her in front of another person, and then when he exchanged gunfire with a civilian, he yelled out to him, "Whites don't kill whites." And for whatever reason, nobody wants to talk about that, you know, but that's what the discussion was on last night. Not gonna get into it, so here we go with this. But again, tonight is from my guy Jeremy. This is Abraham. Again, Abraham, and we are getting ready to go on what we are taught versus the actual reality. And do you have anything you want to add before we start running?
Well, you know, for the most part, one thing that I want to say is...
And yes, we are at Starbucks. There we go, Starbucks.
What we were talking about last night on how we perceive ourselves. And, you know, it comes down to why are we perceiving ourselves the way we do, right? And that comes down to the programming of the person, right, who they're being around. So it might play an important role into what we're going to talk about. So I think we can probably touch on that a little bit.
Okay, yeah, we're not going to touch on that today. We'll probably do that tomorrow. Yeah, I'm just letting you know we ain't doing that one today. But one thing we taught is that a police officer is an authority figure. Now, the actual reality is police officers are public servants, as they are addressed and have a fiduciary duty to work towards the benefit of the public. Now, one of the things that I pointed out in a past post, it was the Georgia Constitution actually has it written down. This is literally written in the Georgia State Constitution. And what happens is a police officer only has authority when there comes an actual crime, which we know is damage to a person, damage to property, or police witnessing a felony, which is generally damage to a personal property, and there is an actual complaining witness. Generally, when you're dealing with them, these are not parts of the scenario. So therefore, there is no corpus delicti. And that is one of the things I want to bring up, because authority figure, no. A servant is never an authoritarian until you give them the authority. Self-defense is personal responsibility when seconds count, and I don't understand what the hell that says. It went by too fast. Anyway, I'll respond to it later. But do you have anything to add on to police officers or authority figures?
Well, for one, I think that when you talk about why we call authority figures, why we call them that, and we are personally taught by our parents, and I have, that happened to me, where I've been like in probably 5th grade, 6th grade, their teachers taught in the school, you have to respect an authority figure, you have to respect police officers, you have to be thankful to them. So, and then it's later reinforced with your parents. And then also the mentality of, well, you shouldn't talk to them. You should be afraid of, approaching a police officer if it's nothing happening. I think it's, fear that we have of things that we don't know.
Okay, I can give you that one. What? I said we're good with
Yes.
that one? Okay.
Yes.
All right. And then the next one that we're taught is one, again, it's something that is literally, maybe we can do some research into how citizens arrest the police. That would actually be a great thing to have a conversation about, because that needs to happen, because we have a lot of extra BS that goes on that they are allowed to do that I feel they shouldn't be allowed to do. But some of the things that I have done in the past is more or less in a reporting type of manner, to where I bring in some international law and I bring in outside sources, and they have actually worked for the most part. I'll get into that, and this is why I'm doing more lives, because I want to be able to go into these type things without the restrictions that are right now. It's working kind of, sort of, but not the way it's supposed to. So I don't have the camera set up, which is why it looked like he's sitting in my damn lap. But there are things that I want to put together that actually illustrate the very thing that I'm talking about. Vary by state. Okay. Well, Froggy, hopefully me and you can have a Skype and we can have a conversation about that, because I'm actually interested in knowing some of the stuff that you want to put up. That works for me. But again, back to what we were supposed to be talking about. The Georgia Constitution speaks about amenability from public officers. And we're taught that police don't have to tell you why they're contacting you. Now, in reality, because of Terry v. Ohio, police are amenable to you at all times. Amenable, actually, okay, thank you for sharing your knowledge. My question is, do all police operate under the fiduciary duty? Yes, that's why whenever I had the video about them being this very thing here, being amenable at all times, it is not a police station. It is not a police policy. That's why all police officers have to do it. And most people don't understand that concept, because all of them have to do it. not just one police station, not just one officer. Each and every officer is a servant. That's why we talked about that. They have no authority until you give it to them, which is why they are amenable to you at all times. And amenable actually means open to suggestion and responsive. Notice I said the three biggest letters or three biggest words in law is or, if, and. And amenable means open to suggestion and responsive. So they have to be responsive when you're asking a question, because they are servants via their fiduciary duty. And that comes from Terry v. Ohio, where it illustrates on multiple instances throughout Terry v. Ohio, they must articulate before they interact with you, because they cannot just walk up to you and stop you. They cannot just walk up to you and tell you anything, because even giving instructions is a violation. But we're going to get into that in just a few seconds. Is there anything that you want to add to about police amenability?
Yes, actually, there is a few. One thing I want to bring up right now is something you mentioned a while ago. Is the phone part about most police officers and police units now don't have or are beginning to take the protect and serve part.
Yeah, they don't have serve on their cars.
Anymore.
And that's actually a good practice. If you look at police cars or police cruisers, which again, something I'm gonna get into, look for the word serve. And if you find it, please take a picture of it and send it to me, because I want to know what county that's in, because it's no longer on the police cruisers. The word serve is not on there. They have protect and other crap, but they do not have the word serve. It's been removed.
To serve and not to protect and something else.
Yeah, to protect it. Yeah, it's protecting something else now, but
yeah.
it changes depending on where you're at. Because I know in California, most of the police cruisers that I've seen do not have it on there at all. And here in Texas, I don't remember seeing it on anything.
Well, maybe actually the sheriffs have something similar around here in El Paso, but it's not the same
It's
thing.
not served.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think it was. And I know some of the, what do you call those? The highway patrolmen. I think they have a slogan, but it's not
The
protectors. Yeah, troopers. They're called troopers here. All right.
You know, the other thing that I want to bring up is examples of that happening is, you know, in New York, for example, you have a policy that was abolished because
all right, you speeding, because that has nothing to do with amenability.
They stop and frisk you.
You're speeding, that has nothing to do with amenability. You're speeding. We're gonna get into that. We're talking about being amenable.
Okay.
Stay focused. Bastard.
Right.
But yeah, that's actually
Down the road.
the last topic we're gonna talk about tonight.
All right.
Need you to stay focused. See, this is why you do your research, because you get guys that want to speed and don't want to pay attention. We talking about amenability. He want to stop and touch folks. But anyway,
That came on right.
all right. But now, again, I actually touched on this one too. You have to follow the commands of the police officer. Now, in reality, if you don't call the police and you are not party to a crime, you do not have to answer police, because you have the right to remain silent. If they choose to do an investigation, USV Sharp, they have 20 minutes to get it done. You don't have to respond at all during that time. You are not required to give an alibi. You're not required to respond. Okay, give me a second, Froggy. Many federal cases have been written that police are not required to protect. You're exactly right. And Froggy, you know what, man, you're gonna have to get a Skype, man. As soon as they fix this damn software, man, you're gonna have to get on Skype and get this right, because I like the fact that you actually adding to the conversation. and you've been adding a lot of good stuff for me too. I appreciate that. And but yeah, you don't have to unless you're a party to a crime. You can continue on your way, and that goes. Police aren't even required. You know what? That's exactly right. That's exactly right. They are not required to tell the truth. And the crazy part about that is the fact that even when they lie to you, even when they manipulate the situation, it is not a violation of their duty, which is odd to me because their duty is to respond to you in a truthful manner. But generally they don't do that. So, but let me stop reading all y'all comments so I can finish this. Y'all tripping.
You know, the crazy part about that is that.
And you just gonna interrupt too? That's what you do.
Okay,
that's what everybody doing now. Hey, that's what we do. Just come on. What you got? What you got? Because I ain't gonna finish this.
No, go ahead.
No. What you got? Because you gonna forget anyway. What you got?
I already forgot.
Okay. All right. But yeah, if you don't call the police and you are not party to a crime, USB Sharp, they only have 20 minutes to handle their business. You don't have to provide an alibi. You don't have to respond because you have a 50-minute protection of not incriminating yourself. And even in that sense, you can continue walking on your way without any response unless there is a crime which gives them a lawful reason to be there. And that is Florida v. Royer. And if police give instructions or order you to stop or go or anything, it is a violation because it's called a show of authority stop. And that's Florida v. Bostic. Now, we're taught a lot of extra stuff. And really just gonna hit the brakes like that? You ain't even gonna get on the highway. That's what you do. All right. But yeah, we're actually taught that like if they say something to you, you have to follow it. And I hate to be the asshole to say, hey, no you don't, because we have so many cowards working that don't do the job properly. That could end up with a bullet in your ass, and then them lying because generally they're not going to have their body cams on. They're not going to have their dash cams on. And if they do, if nobody's around to see it, it's almost like if a tree falls in the woods. If nobody's around to hear it, if nobody else is around to actually illustrate what happened, there's a good chance they're not going to do the right thing. They're not going to tell on themselves. They're not going to police themselves. And that's where we fall into that. However, I'm actually proactive with doing things like this. If you run into that knucklehead or that asshole, go ahead and let them do what they need to do. When you get out and you go to court, that's when you start barbecuing. Because certain things are not worth losing your life for. Take your stand, but stand in the right way. And that's what, only in court and in the room. That's one tell the truth. See, Patrick jumping in. You want a Skype message too? No, you want some Skype too? Okay, I ain't mad at you, Patrick, but you are 100% correct. And but yeah, what we're understanding is it's creating the position of where we need to be or supposed to be. What's up, Mo?
What's up, baby?
Well,
we got that live telecast.
Yeah, we got the live, but we don't have the other
what's good,
camera
big
setup.
What's up, good?
Big Mo.
What's up?
You want a little piece of this?
Yeah. I'll get in there right now. I'll be back in 5.
Oh. They said you can do me a favor. Okay, yeah, you can kiss my ass. Oh, I'm sorry, but yeah. Sometimes
that's our
yeah, they need a beeping button because
that's our beep. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, they do ask. Yeah, I need you. I don't care what you need. Ain't got nothing to do with me. I would like for you. I would like for you to leave me the hell alone. Don't look like either one of us gonna be happy. I mean, I'm such an asshole with certain things that, you know, certain responses I really don't care about them having or giving, because I've got a million of them. I literally got a million of them. But when we're understanding that we're not required to answer them, they are required to answer us. We don't have to do shit for them. We're not police officers. We don't have to do an investigation. Shut the fuck up and sit down. But at the end of the day, we also have to be mindful that, like I said, there are a lot of cowards that are not doing the job properly. So when you take your stance, understand what the stance is being taken, and then understand where you need to enforce what you're trying to do.
No, I'm good. You're finished.
Oh, now you ain't got nothing to say. See, that's shit I'm talking about. See, it got me all riled up, got my pressure all up. Oh, and again, I actually want to send a shout out to my dude Jeremy. This show is actually the $100 show from Jeremy, so I appreciate you. And anybody else that wants to control the show other than the Skype shows, which I'm doing the inviting on, you know, send the hundo. We gonna get it in. I've got a couple more that are coming up. Tomorrow is actually going to be unreasonable search and seizures and how to fight them in court via map hearings, how to set up the map hearing, or actually how to move the court to set up the map hearing, and how to win the actual map hearing to stop the yeah, there are instances of the orders and commands being lawful, but it's only in instances of a crime. Yeah, they damn sure do. Can you do me a favor? I sure can't. I don't know you. And even if I do know you, I don't know you. But yeah, and we're actually going to get into the last one, which is what Abraham spoke about. God damn it. Stop and frisk.
It's summer's Easter.
Okay. We're gonna get into this ass keep jumping in about police being able to stop you, question you, and search you without permission. Now, again, we go back to Terryville, Ohio, because these are the simples of it. Now, is that the only case? No, because even in Miranda v. Arizona and like 10 other cases v. Arizona, they must articulate and point to the dangerous area, or it is a violation of their oath, and it is also a violation of their fiduciary duty, which allows them to lose their qualified immunity and be sued in federal court in their individual or personal capacity. Not as Officer Johnson, they are flat out David Johnson or whoever. And it is also the reason you have New York now spending out hundreds of millions of dollars because of Rudy Giuliani's policy, which you spoke about, yes, for stop and frisk. Because it is illegal to just stop somebody because you have something that you feel like doing or want to do or ain't got shit else better to do. You have to have a reason to stop someone. You actually have to point to that area before you can search them, or you're going to have permission from the subject, or you have to get a warrant. And for me, they got to go ahead and get that warrant, because I'm not giving them anything at any time. So understanding that and understanding the practice of this is what we need to imply or implement. Not imply, we're going to implement it. We ain't implying anything. We're going to implement everything that we're learning, because I had a young man tell me yesterday, knowledge is power. No, knowledge is potential power. Applied knowledge is power, and that's what we're trying to do. We're applying the knowledge that we're getting. And I appreciate you, Jiggy. All right, now, Abraham, you can finish up.
Well, for one, like I mentioned in New York. Now, what about other states? What should I do if I get to run into a police officer?
Hold on for 1 second.
Okay.
I'm gonna answer that. The question was asked, if they ask, can you do me a favor, and you comply. Now, if you comply, that is you giving your voluntary, knowing consent for that encounter. You're offering them, basically, you're doing them that favor. So that's their permission. And your question, your question was,
well, like I say, what do you do? Let's say you're now in a car, you're in public at a gas station.
That's public gas station. Gotcha.
Right. A cop pulls in to the parking lot, whatever, and tries to talk to you, right? And you walk away. What is the next move? What will be the right move to make if they try to stop you at that point?
How would you consider them trying to stop you? If they grab you, or what? What do you?
Well,
because if you're walking away, you're exercising a actual freedom.
Right.
They have to have a lawful reason to talk to you if you don't consent to it. And that's just like I was just saying. Florida v. Royer. You can walk away uninterrupted. You do not have to talk to them. There is nothing anywhere that you have to do with them. You are not a police officer. You do not have to do an investigation. You do not have to participate in their investigation. So,
right.
Okay.
Well, to answer that, I will say, because it escalates often, more often than not. It escalates down to, first they start following you, hey you, and then stop, and then stop resisting. So at that point they go and catch up to you to literally physically block you from moving any farther.
Boom, glad you said that, because we talk about a lot of my First Amendment auditors, what they encounter are people that physically obstruct them from practicing a First Amendment protected act, which is photography. Once they do that obstruction, that is assault. That is also something I will get into, because any restriction of a freedom, if they touch you, it's assault. If they grab your camera or do anything that alienates any part of that, it then becomes part of the Criminal Damages Act. All of those are federal crimes. Generally, when you have federal crimes in that nature, what's going to happen is you then can hold them liable civilly, because the guidelines for evidence and even enactment are a lot less severe or a lot less stringent when it comes to a civil case. Now, going into any civil case, I always tell everybody, I ask them, what is your idea of justice? Because generally you're not going to see them go to prison. You're not going to get millions and millions of dollars. Because even if you win a case, let's say it was a young man, he actually went to court, went to trial, won $28 million bucks. He was in, I think he was in Michigan. The first thing they did was file a motion to set aside the verdict. They generally win that, because you don't need to prove anything when you're
setting motion.
When you're setting aside the verdict.
Okay.
You don't really need to prove anything. So that's an easy win. So I got a criminal case, or I got a civil case where I won $28 million bucks. He sets aside the verdict. So technically there is no verdict. There is no $28 million. Now what? Because if my mind was set on $28 million, my heart was set on $28 million, then it's a good chance that I will die not ever seeing a penny, because I'm stuck on one thing. So what you have to think about is, when you're going into, let's say your level of justice is $1 million bucks. Anything around that number, go ahead. I recommend go ahead and getting paid, if that's what you are looking to do. If it's looking for something else, because my thing was, I want to take everything you believe you love. I don't give a shit about money. I will go and my favorite dude, ex-district attorney John Melvin from DeKalb County. This bastard actually refused to shake my hand prior to court. So he let me know that it was personal. Now, one of the things that happened with him was the fact that he wanted to be a judge. I found that out. That was all he wanted in his entire life. He had an opportunity, had he beat me in trial, he would have become a judge. Oh, got a little distracted, my bad. Had he won that trial, he would have been a judge, a federal court judge in Georgia. When he lost, not only did he lose his job as a district attorney in DeKalb County, he lost the opportunity to be a judge in Georgia. He then lost most of the stuff that was around him. I didn't care about the money. I cared that he lost everything he believed he loved. That was my level of justice. Has that been the case for every case? No. But that particular case, that was my level. I didn't care about anything else. So I became one-minded, focused on his ass losing everything else. So when you're going into him, that's what you have to have in mind. You can't have in mind the verdict and lost my focus again. Okay, you can't have your mind set on the verdict. Okay, simply, it's a non-consensual conversation. I wish to not contact. That's a great question to ask. That is definitely a great question to ask. Basically, I go ahead and tell. Well, I'm gonna give you kind of a description because I know sometimes I say some shit that just sounds kind of outlandish. I already know most of the time because I'm 6'4", I'm 270 pounds. Anybody that encounters me, I'm real assholish. If you don't understand what I'm saying to you, I'm gonna go ahead and barbecue you in court because you're either too incompetent to perform the job, so you don't need the job, so that's what I'm going to pursue, or you're doing a willful act, which means you don't want to do the job, and I'm going to pursue that. So either way, we got to talk to a federal court judge about your foolishness. Okay. Did you sue John Melvin in federal court, state court? We actually, I filed in federal court. He ended up, we ended up with a settlement, and hell, it was actually one of the quicker ones. Yeah. It is still an illegal stop, even if you offer consent on certain instances, because they have to have a lawful reason that has an actual complainant or an actual incident to which they're stopping you for. Because anytime they stop your locomotion without cause, yeah, it was literally, we won October 25th, 2012 at 1:04 p.m. I remember that. I ain't gonna forget that one. And I filed in the court case. I filed probably, I think it was like that following Tuesday or Wednesday, and everything was kind of settled like November. It was settled before Thanksgiving. It, like I said, that one wasn't long at all, and I think at the time I was just hot right then, so it wasn't a lot of, okay, I'm gonna go back and forth with him. But yeah, that guy Scott, that's exactly what it is, because they still have to have a reason to stop you, because even roadblocks are illegal. Delaware v. Prowse.
DUI stops, checkpoints.
Yeah, DUI checkpoints are on a call. Oh. Outlaw, I appreciate you, man. I saw that you had posted a couple of the videos. Get whatever you want, man. I have no issues with it. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's about understanding what it is that you're looking for when you file any case. You also want to understand how to move the court. You also, again, these are things that I'm going to get. Can we talk privately? If you have my email, shoot me an email, Scott, and we'll go from there. Cause I've been horrible about calling people back. I'm not even gonna lie, cause I've been swamped the last couple of days, and then like today, I was planning on making a bunch of phone calls, and I'm like, as you see, I'm still dealing with this trashy ass software. But yeah, shoot me an email, and we'll go from there.
What's
up, man?
Undefeated.
Yes, sir. Good.
Okay, one last thing for me, I will want to ask.
How long before you need us move? How long before you need us
I'm gonna do
move?
the inside first.
Okay.
One more thing I want to ask before we go is, okay, so you say you have to have a reason, right?
Yes.
And somebody called,
Okay.
you know, and say,
Hold on. Let me give you this. Anytime a caller calls in and says things such as, "Oh, there's a suspicious person," they can stop you for a suspicious person. However, they still must articulate a crime. What makes them suspicious? If that suspicion, like photography, is not a crime, they can come out and make contact. You still do not have to participate in their investigation. Now, ask your question.
well, you answer right there.
Okay.
Because, like I say, if the police, like you say, often will lie about what the situation and manipulate that situation on their favor so that they can get something on you.
Right.
Because I seen videos or cases where, you know, black people get stopped and say, "I'm suspecting you of a crime. I suspect you of, you know, of you having a warrant. That's why I need your ID. That's why I need to talk to you." So, you see what I'm saying?
No, not really. However, I have an idea. Greatest now at that's a great question, Jingy. Suspicious of what crime? Because again, they have to articulate that. And it's greatest now at Yahoo. Just like I said it. But what happens is I've actually had them, they'll say, "Oh, well, we got a call about this," and you fit the description. I smile, I chill out, have them repeat it. I'll tell them, have dispatch repeat it. Now, "Oh, I don't have to." "Oh, yeah, you do." And if they don't worry about it, because it's going to be documented. And again, we're going to have a conversation with a federal court judge. And that is my answer to everything. We are going to have, because I equate it to this. Your child goes to school, right? A child at school and your child have an altercation. Are you going to have a conversation with that child, or are you going to have a conversation with the child's parents?
With the parents or the principal?
Fuck the principal. I'm going to have a conversation with the child's parents. What am I talking to the principal for? Because the principal ain't raising the child. The principal is just a dude that's there, or a chick that's there for some mediation. That's it. But I'm responsible for my child, not the principal. So guess what? I'm going to talk to that child's parents. When I'm dealing with a police officer, the police officer is the child. I'm not going to have a conversation with another police officer. Because why am I going to? Because the people complain about the blue wall. And then they have an incident with somebody as part of the blue wall. Then what they do, they go talk to one of the child's siblings, which is part of the blue wall. If I want something to happen, if I want change to happen, I'm going to go talk to their parents. The parent is the federal court, because everything that you're violating of mine comes from the feds. So we need to have that conversation with your parents. Because I ain't got to spank you. I'm going to let your parents do it. but I'm gonna run them pockets. And the problem with most people is they don't know how to do it properly. They're not programmed or taught to do it that way. And I become the asshole because if you talk to me crazy, I'm too big for. I've always had the mentality since I was maybe 12, 13 years old, because I've always been a bigger guy. I'm too big for you to talk to me crazy. My father, my father was little. He stopped talking to me crazy when I was like 14. So if he didn't have the nuts to talk to me crazy at 14, there's no way in the hell I'm gonna allow somebody outside my house to talk to me crazy and we not have a conversation about it. Because I ain't gotta talk to another child, I'm gonna talk to your parents. And that's how I address everything.
And you know, the funny part about that is actually I met a guy in a school, and it's exactly it's happening the same thing you're mentioning. He goes and says, well, police are harassing me, you know, quite often. And then I asked him, so what do you do? Oh, I went to internal affairs and talked to them.
Cop.
Right, exactly. And then I'm like, just what you said, why are you talking to them? They're not going to do anything about it.
And then he going to complain to a cop about a cop, and then complain about the cops not doing anything, and then complain about the blue wall. Guess what? I'm going outside of that. I ain't gonna talk to. If I have an issue with you, right? I'm not gonna go talk to your brother. Hey, you need to get your brother straight. If that was happening, I wouldn't have had to go to your brother in the first goddamn game. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So why am I? Let's go ahead and skip all that. I'm going straight to your folks. We got to talk to your parents. I got to talk adult to adult. The adults got to talk. I can't talk to you because you've already shown me you ain't got the intelligence to speak. And that's the way I leave it, because we've already shown that. Oh, I appreciate you, man. Give me a little bit. I'm gonna hit you up. But yeah, you gotta understand this. There is a place for it to enforce federal rights or anything dealing with the Constitution. You have to go where the Constitution is in play, which is federal court. Now, should they uphold it in lower courts as they are required? If you do the things that holds them responsible, yes, because the one thing everybody does is cover their own ass. CMOA. Cover my own ass. And I had to learn that the hard way. And the way I looked at it was because my first couple cases, I didn't know what the fuck risk management was. I didn't go to risk management. And then when I went to risk management, I ran into the issues because I wasn't asking the right question that allowed him to cover their ass. And it's a simple ass question. Who's responsible?
You're looking for who to blame, in other words.
No. If I'm gonna ask you something, who's responsible for this? Who's responsible for that? Because he can say, well, I'm not responsible for it. Go talk to this person. Now, he's not throwing them under the bus, but he's directing me in the place that I need to go. So that allows him to cover his own ass. And that's what we're trying to do. So we allow them to cover their ass, because because I looked at it like this. My first couple of cases, I went in with an Uzi. Everybody that was around got it. Everybody could get it. But then, like now, I don't need to hit everybody. If I got a problem with you, I'm gonna hit you. It's sniper like. I ain't got that much ammo now. I ain't got that type of patience.
It got expensive.
So no, it ain't damn expensive. It got time consuming. When you're suing 12 and 15 people at a time,
it takes time.
Because now I got to deal with your lawyer, his lawyer, her lawyer. I got to deal with everybody's attorney at one time, and it's like I ain't got time for all this shit. Because you might want to settle, but he might not. So I can't take your settlement because this jacket. But he might have time to talk, but you don't. See, I ain't got time for all that. So. Oh, you in the way? You're in the way. I need you to move. Okay? I need you to move. Bow, and then I'm good. And Froggy, tripping, man. But you're right. So, but anyway, You got anything else to close us out with?
No, that was my closing.
Okay.
Video.
Well, I do appreciate everybody showing up tonight. Hopefully they get this thing done. I'm gonna give them 10 more days because I actually like the video quality. I like the things that they can add in, and I hope everybody hit the like button because I didn't say it this time. And hopefully we can keep going. Tomorrow, I think I have a reminder already set. If not, I'm gonna set up the premiere in probably the next 20-30 minutes for tomorrow, and we'll go from there. And it's regarding MAP hearings, which is MAP v. Ohio, and winning and also setting the case or setting the motion to be heard, and also how to win it. Oh, thank you, Inner Beauty. And look for my phone call tomorrow too. And, that's it for me tonight. Anybody got a couple questions that we can answer before we get off? Because we literally got a couple minutes. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Nah, because it's a damn delay, so I'm gonna give him a couple seconds. Okay, appreciate you.
That's a green light for you.
No, she just heard that I was gonna call her. Yeah, I got it. I'm gonna hit you back in a little bit. I got it, Scott. But other than that, I appreciate everybody showing up. You have a great night too, Patrick. I appreciate you, man. Okay, Inner Beauty asks, can you set a motion for hearing for somebody else if you have already established that you're going to be the representation for that person? And give me a couple days and I'll go over that as well.
I need to figure out.
Froggy, shoot me if you want to. Shoot me an email and I'll send you over the app. Cause you should, unless you either Android or Apple, you should be able to get it. But yeah, shoot me that email. All right, and I appreciate everybody. Hit the like button before you leave, since I didn't say it when you came in. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you.